Hey everybody, it's Raina.
And Droo. I'm Droo.
And who are we?
We are Instant Movie Reviews with Raina and Droo.
That's right. We do our movie reviews right out of the theater. We've been best friends for 20 years. We met in university. We love seeing movies, and we decided to create a YouTube channel in hopes of getting a free movie ticket. And we've had a few now.
That wasn't the only motive. We always have good conversations driving home from the movie theater. And we decided that maybe we should share these thoughts with other people.
And we've been slowly improving our channel as we go. We're getting better gear. We also have been getting access to more movies with the tickets, and we just got our logos made, and I've been sharing those in each video, so that's nice. And today we're going to see something different, at least for me, but not different for you. What are we seeing?
We are seeing the 2025 Legacy sequel, I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's technically the fourth film in the franchise, but the third one was its own like weird supernatural thing. So this is a legacy sequel like Scream 5 was. So Jennifer Love Hewitt is back from the original. Freddie Prinze Jr. is back from the original. And so it's not a reboot. It's an actual continuation that's also kind of doing its own thing. It looks like it's got its own like unique cast, sort of like the Fab Four, whatever they call themselves in the Scream reboot. Anyway, it's a new group of kids being attacked by the fishermen. So
I've not seen the original. I read a high-level overview, and Drew and I went to dinner before this, and he gave me kind of like the Coles notes of it. I did want to try to see it before we came. I've just had a really busy few weeks. So I'm kind of indifferent, honestly. I just enjoy seeing movies with Drew. I enjoy horror movies. I like all the actors. So, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'll go along with it and see it. What are you looking forward to the most?
So the original I Know What You Did Last Summer was actually the very first horror movie that I ever remember seeing for sure. I remember there was this little sort of combination grocery store with like video rentals at the very end of the subdivision I was living in at the time.
Oh, video rentals. We are dating ourselves.
Yeah, darling. We are. But I remember seeing it, being intrigued by it. I was always kind of horror curious because my mom read Stephen King books.
Horror curious?
My mom would read horror books like Stephen King, and I would always see the covers and be curious and ask questions. She would give me very sanitized, kid-friendly versions of what's going on in the Stephen King book. So I was like, I wanted to see this. I asked her to rent it for me. She agreed. And it's my very first, so it's got a little bit of a nostalgia factor for me. I know the original is not a classic. It is a classic, but it's not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination. It's silly. The characters are not overly developed, but it was my first, and I have fond feelings for it, and that's why I'm so excited that there's a legacy sequel in 2025 that brings back the surviving members of the original cast and tries to revive this franchise that was my whole beginning journey into horror movie fandom.
Well, and who knows? Nobody expected the Scream reboot to be as good as it was, and it ended up being so good. I was talking to my friend Ange about this, and she was like, "Yeah,
mention,
yeah." She's like, "This is an iconic film from back in the day. Like, it's like quintessential to like those late '90s, early 2000s kind of films." And honestly, the ones we've seen so far have not been bad. Like, Final Destination did a good job. Saw did a phenomenal job. Scream did a great job. So who knows? It feels like it feels like we're doing pretty well. And I actually watched a feature on Watch Mojo today about all the horror sequels that are upcoming that people are actually looking forward to.
I saw that video. I haven't watched it yet. But.
Yeah, so it seems like there's actually quite a few that are coming up soon that are going to be good. So I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of archival back watching things. So did you see the trailer for this?
I did see the trailer. There's actually been more than one trailer. I'm not sure if I've seen the most recent one. I don't really want to have too much spoiled. Like, the problem with slasher movies is you watch more than one version of the trailer and they spoil a lot of the kills, I find. And seems weird to say the kills are a fun thing, but that's one of the fun parts about a horror slasher is like how are these attacks going to happen? So I've seen one trailer for sure. I can't remember if I've seen the others, but I feel like I've had a minimal amount of this movie spoiled.
Yeah, I've seen one trailer and same thing. I don't really know what I'm getting into. They did show that like one of the main characters is coming back from the original.
Two of them.
I can't quite recall who of the new kids is cast in it though. Do we know anybody?
I've been so focused on Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. being back that I haven't really looked at the cast of this one. No one is obviously familiar to me when I look at it being like, oh, that's so-and-so. But that was the same thing in Scream 5. I didn't know any of those actors before that movie, and that
Mikey went on to win an Oscar.
She won an Oscar. But yeah, that movie did such a good job of establishing this new cast of characters that while it was really neat to see Sidney Prescott, Neve Campbell's character, come back, I was like, I'm actually interested in these new characters, so I'm really hoping that this movie does that as well. But at the same time, this is an inherently kind of silly franchise, so I'm not expecting it to be all that intellectually engaging. I'm just hoping that it's fun.
It's going to be a fun popcorn flick. Drew and I were just talking too about just kind of having stressful weeks. And this is one of the things that I love going to the movie theater for, is just the escapism. For me, being a mom, it's a good time for me to actually just stop having to take care of a little person and zone out for a little bit, which I do not get very often, and eat popcorn, which we both love, you know. And sometimes Drew and I do end up like chatting with other audience members and having good conversations and stuff. I also love previews. Yeah. I'm one of those weirdos that really loves trailers. So when we go to a film and there's no trailers because it's an early showing, I'm kind of disappointed. Like,
yeah, when we saw Superman, it just went right into the movie. I was like, oh, we're not going to see anything more about Fantastic Four or anything else that's coming out, but yeah.
No, I'm excited for so many movies that are coming out. But yeah, I'm feeling kind of like indifferent on this, but still happy to be here. Last week when we did Superman, I was in a really bad mood, and Superman kind of turned things around for me, actually. I'm still kind of riding that high. So this one, I'm just like, I'll just be happy if I get a couple good scares out of it, have some laughs out of it. I actually like vicariously enjoy through you as well. Like, you got so much out of Final Destination that made me feel good and made me feel happy. So especially your reaction to the Tony Todd thing, like, that was really cute.
That was a great scene. What a wonderful way for that character to end. Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna go see the movie, and you'll get our fun little title card of 2 hours later or whatever.
And no spoilers. The thing about I Know What You Did Last Summer is it's always a whodunit. We're not going to spoil at all who the killer or killers is, so don't worry, we will not ruin this for you because it's really a whodunit, and that's still learning the kinks of the new equipment. But yeah, we won't spoil anything when we come back.
All right, guys, see you at the movies.
See you soon.
Look, I don't even have to reach forward to turn it off. I'm just going to do this.
It's like magic.
Well, Drew, tell us how you really feel.
As a fan of that franchise, I feel so catered to.
Yeah?
Yeah. My biggest problem with Scream 5, then just called Scream, is that it wanted to be a legacy sequel, but it didn't really do enough with the classic characters to really make it feel that way. I feel like I'm not explaining myself accurately, but that movie is exactly what I wanted Scream 5 to be, in that it was a legacy sequel that pays homage to the original. It doesn't reboot anything. Everything that happened in the original film happened, and it felt like a sequel that was moving things forward with callbacks that didn't feel cheap. You know?
So there's another guy in the movie who was also a big fan, to the point that he was wearing a t-shirt of the original movie, and Drew and this guy clapped and cheered and screamed at all the same things. So if there was a jump scare, the two of them jumped. If there was a callback to the fans, the two of them cheered. If one of the characters got like a clean escape, the two of them clapped. Anytime there was like major fan service, I thought they were both gonna cry. And the poor guy did apologize to us at the end. He's like, I hope I wasn't annoying.
There was nothing to apologize for. That enhanced it for me. I was like, it's not just me that's loving this.
It was entertaining. And I had said to him, no, I knew what I signed up for when I decided to come for this.
Yeah.
I will say not knowing the original material, this didn't resonate with me at all. I appreciate everything that Droo is saying and why. So I'm not like disagreeing with it. I'm just saying that like if you didn't watch the first, or if you weren't a fan of the first, it's probably pointless to see this. It seems like it's something that you really should. It's meant for the fans.
Yeah, I feel like it's required viewing to at least see the first two. Again, after I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, it kind of went off and did its own weird little thing, but you should at least see the first two, because yeah, this really was made for the fans.
And it was fun. Like, it was fun, but I will say for me, the jump scares didn't get me, but they got Droo a few times, and his tummy was gurgling a few times. But they didn't get me, and I found myself picking up on plot holes and then picking up on just stupid things I thought the main characters were doing. And I know that's kind of a horror movie cliche, but I have noticed that in recent movies, we've moved away from that, where they're not doing stupid things.
Oh, yeah, there were completely illogical, baffling things. Like, at times it was like, oh, it sounds like they're actually going to do something really smart, and then they go and they do the opposite. But the reason that didn't bother me is this felt like a late 90s, early 2000s slasher film in all of the best ways.
Yeah.
And it takes place in modern times. It's a 2025 sequel, but it made no efforts to be elevated horror. It didn't try to be like super smart or to say a whole lot of like deep, meaningful things. Bring Her Back, this was not. But if you're looking for a schlocky, fun callback slasher film, that is exactly what I found that to be.
I messaged my friend Ange and I was like, you're gonna love it. You know, you really liked the first one and you thought that that was kind of like an iconic 90s horror movie. You're gonna love this. Like, yeah. It seems to be really feeding to that. So I feel like this and Bloodlines really hit those notes for you.
Yeah, and again, like, it's as a fan of those franchises, I kind of wish I could watch that movie and Bloodlines as somebody without as deep a connection to the franchise and the lore, because I feel like that is definitely, it's valid to acknowledge that that is a different experience if you're not immersed in it. And I haven't seen I Know What You Did Last Summer in well over a decade, but still that served me so much. This
film was not trying to win over new people. It wasn't. It just wasn't. It's almost a parody of what modern kids and young adults are. Like, it reminded me a little bit, one of the main actresses is actually from Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. And there were times where those kids, and I'm calling them kids even though they're like mid-20s.
Well, they were playing college kids. They weren't playing high school students.
Yeah, they were playing college kids. But there were times where it reminded me of Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. And I felt like they were poking fun at that generation, maybe because they know it's mostly our generation watching the film. Yeah. There weren't really any people younger than us in the film. There were people older than us watching it. Like in the movie screening, there wasn't really anybody younger than us. So like it's not so much like, I think it's totally okay that I went into it and I'm like, meh, because it's not meant for me. And even though my review is going to vastly different from Droo, I don't think they care. Like, I think this was just made for fans. This was total fan service.
And I appreciate that, because if we want to talk about a legacy sequel that completely lost its way, Halloween 2018 did, I thought, a pretty decent job of bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis, bringing back Michael Myers, but it ignored so much. And then after Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills started to go off the rails a little bit, and then Halloween Ends was just god-awful if you are a serious fan of that franchise. So I feel like that Halloween trilogy tried to do something new and tried to win over new fans, and in the end it just left those of us who were really there, hardcore, wanting an excellent Halloween trilogy, underserved. Yeah. So I would much prefer something like that than Halloween Ends.
Yeah, and like for me, like, you know, it's a movie I saw, whatever, like, but I enjoyed being there with Droo, and I enjoyed Droo's reaction to it, and I enjoyed this guy behind us and his reaction to it. And you know, there's times, you know, Droo came with me to see The Little Mermaid, and for him it was like, yeah, it's The Little Mermaid, like, that was nice.
And I liked Lilo and Stitch. I didn't love it. I think you liked Lilo and Stitch more than I did. Yeah, I had personal connections to Lilo and Stitch, and then the Little Mermaid live action, which like everybody hated, I love because I'm a professional mermaid and I like love all the work that went into it. And so same with like
Battle Angel, but I think Battle Angel won you over too. You did like that.
Oh, I love Battle Angel.
But like I grew up reading that manga, and
you would have gotten all the references in that movie that I did not. But I truly appreciated what Alita Battle Angel did. But I feel like if I had known the lore a little bit more, I would have gotten as much out of that film as you did.
Right. So not everything is going to be for me. Not everything is going to be for Droo. So like, I'm not calling this a bad movie or anything. I think it's good for what it is, and if you're a fan, you're going to really love it. Like, I don't think fans are going to walk away from this disappointed.
No,
right?
Like, no. And it was the fans who were the hardest on this when it first got announced. They announced that Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze was coming back, and there was a lot of hesitation and sort of eye rolling that I saw and some of the fans online, and I'm like, that was so made for us. It really was so made for us.
Really
you have to give it a little bit of props because it was serving a very particular audience. They could have tried to do a very broad appeal. Let's have some stuff from the original, but it stands on its own. But this really so is intertwined with the originals that it's really required viewing. I really wish you had seen the originals before we saw that.
I did like the cast. Okay, so I went and looked up what everybody was in. So one of the main girls was from Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Another main girl was in Glass Onion, another really good whodunit. The guy, he's going to be in the upcoming Jordan Peele movie that's coming out. So like,
and he's beautiful.
And then
he's so
Jonah,
beautiful.
Jonah, who I think is beautiful too, from The Little Mermaid. Like he was in it, right?
There was a little bit of Little Mermaid referencing. Yeah,
there
in this
was.
movie.
There was.
So it was a little bit for you.
I squealed a little bit. The characters did feel at times a little parody-ish to me. And it's funny, one of the guys reminds me of a young Channing Tatum. Like, he came off that way. But I think it was meant to be that way. Like, that was part of the fun. Like, it wasn't... Like, that was just part of the fun. And the music was really good. Yeah. Which is, like, very kind of... When you think of 90s movies, so many of the 90s movies had good soundtrack.
Had that good alt-rock soundtrack. This had the font of the original credits. It really did feel like something that like traveled forward in time from the late 90s.
I'm glad you said the point about the credits. There is a end credit scene.
And you have to stay for the post-credit scene.
When Droo gave me all the story, I did understand how important the end credit scene was when it came up. But like him and Buddy behind us lost their shit. They cheered so loud. And so if you know the franchise and you love it and whatever, you're going to love the post-credit scene. So make sure you don't go. Freddie Prinze aged nicely.
He did. He did. So did Jennifer Love Hewitt. I mean, she's put on a little weight but she was so skinny in the originals. It was just sort of like, oh, it's so nice to see her back with a normal human body weight. Like, I appreciated that they let her look like herself in this movie.
So in terms of the whodunit aspect, so we're obviously not going to spoil it, but I will say that Droo and I pieced it together about halfway through the movie for the most part.
But then I started to doubt myself. Like, I had my original prediction, and that prediction ultimately turned out to be at least partially correct. But then as the movie went on and certain things were happening and certain clues were being dropped, I moved away from that theory in my brain. And then by the time the reveal happened, it was back to that. I was like, okay, so yeah, I was on the right track.
I had it narrowed down, and I did guess the same whodunit answer at the beginning. Right at the beginning, actually, I guessed it. But then I moved away from it too. And then I kind of came back and forth and toyed with it. So like, it maybe won't keep you guessing, but it's fun. Like, it is very fun. And you had pointed out all these callbacks to the original, and maybe like, I think this part was in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler, but they have the float from the original, and that was kind of cool to see it and stuff. There's a lot of the same sets, or at least they've remade some of the sets to make it look like the same spaces.
I need to go back and rewatch it because there's certain places that are supposed to be places from the original film that I was like, I don't remember what this set looked like to be able to say, oh, that's clearly the same warehouse or house or whatever. So I feel like now I'm going to go back and rewatch the originals for the first time in a very long while, just because I'm so happy with how that turned out.
A lot of comedy too.
A lot of comedy. Yeah, this is not Bring Her Back.
Yeah.
You're not going to walk out of this feeling changed.
How'd you feel about the gore?
It was in line with what I expected. The original, I Know What You Did Last Summer, was bloody, but it was not grotesque. Saw and Hostel, this is not. And I feel like it was just enough to feel like there were stakes, but at the same time, I didn't necessarily want to see these particular characters dismantled on screen, so I appreciated that I didn't have to watch them die. And overly horrible way.
So one thing I will say is that there were pieces of the trailer that must have been cut by the final thing, because there was a couple lines that I felt were quite iconic in the trailer, and they didn't actually make it into the movie, and a couple of very, very like aspects of scenes or short scenes that they showed in the trailer that didn't end up in the movie. So that happens sometimes because, you know,
I think what they're doing is filming fake scenes just for the trailer so that people can be like, oh, they've just shown the entire movie and then it does something differently. Because,
I mean, yeah, it could be deliberate. It could be deliberate. I mean, one of the lines I was waiting to hear because I liked it in the trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, we're not going to say that line. Oh no, we're not going to say that line. Yeah. So Droo, overall, how would you rate this?
As a fan, I want to give it a really high rating, but at the same time, it's not a perfect movie. It's low stakes. It's silly. The characters.
Give it two numbers then.
Okay.
I think that's a fair way to do it.
So as a fan, I'm going to place it right between a 9 and a 10, just because I was so worried as a fan of what that was going to be, especially since the early reviews have been very mixed for this. But I just am so relieved that it was a good legacy sequel that respected the original, that did move things forward, that used the classic callbacks in an effective way. But if I'm going to give it my pure instant movie reviews, critical review, I'm going to bump it down to a 7, just because the things that I loved are just because I'm a fan. And if I'm trying to be a little more objective, I have to scale my review down a little bit. This is a very, very positive, big smile 7 for me.
Yeah, I think that's really fair. I think that's a good way to split it up because, like I said, I think as a fan, you know, it did so many things right. For someone coming into it, some of my criticisms were just kind of almost distracting for me. And I think that if I came into it knowing the story and I was into it, you know, like really into it, I probably wouldn't have picked up on as many things, or I might have overlooked it. But they're just... I kind of got a little annoyed by like halfway through, which is the tropes, you know, and I was like, I can't tell if it's like doing this to be meta or if this is just actually what they're doing. And so like that distracted me a bit, and just some of the just like wanting to scream at them, being like, why are you doing that, you idiot? And a couple times I said it to Droo. I was like, why?
And I don't disagree, but that, to me, that's part of the charm of it.
And I think that's part of it too, right? That is meant, it's part of the whole package. So like for me, it's like a 6.5. I liked it more than like Until Dawn, but it's about on par with Bloodlines for me, which again Droo knew more than I did, and I could totally appreciate the fan service in that one. I think Bloodlines I enjoyed a little bit more because I really liked all of the characters and I was rooting for them and I didn't want anyone to die. I thought they were really, like, I connected to those characters, so I felt bad when they died. In this one, you know, there was really only one character early on where I said to Droo, but I don't want this person to die. They're interesting. I thought they were the most interesting out of everybody.
I agree. That character, and we're not going to spoil who that is, but I really would have loved so much more with that character because the actor who played them, again, I'm not even going to reveal the gender of this character, but I was just like, this character is so fun and so full of energy and could bring a lot of intrigue to this, and then just gone. It kind of reminds me of season 1 Stranger Things. It's the only season of Stranger Things I've seen, but they got rid of Barb so quickly, and I was like, I love Barb. Why does she need to be gone so quickly?
Justice for Barb.
Justice for Barb, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like a 6.5 for me. It's not a movie I would have seen without Droo. Like, I don't even know if I would have streamed it just because I didn't see the original. This might have been one of those things where in the winter I watch all of them. You know, I kind of did that with Saw before we went to see Saw 10. I hadn't watched any of them. I binged all of them, and then I actually got invested and I became a fan and I went to see it. And I'm really glad I did that before seeing Saw. And I wanted to do that for this. I just didn't have the energy. But sometimes these older movies, they don't age as well. And I can't believe I just called a movie from the 90s an older movie. I'm old.
There's some dialogue about that.
I know,
the passage of time from 1997 until now is actually a point of dialogue.
Almost
in this
30 years.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How are we this old? But yeah, I think overall, like our takeaway from this is like, if you like the originals and you're a fan of this genre and these films, you're gonna love it. Like,
just be prepared for it to be tropey. If you can forgive that and you like the originals, You may love it as much as I did. You may be more like Raina, a little bit more on the mid scale. As I said, from a critical standpoint, we're not that far apart.
No, I think if you like the first one though, I think you should go see it. Like I messaged my friend who liked the first one. I was like, yeah, you should see it because I think you're gonna love it. Like I mean, literally these guys cheering. Like there are people like in total stranger like cheering and having the best day of his life watching this movie.
And oh my god, there's one reveal in the mid to 3/4 of the way through the movie that I think I literally said holy
you did say.
Out loud.
You did.
And you could feel the audience react. It was such an unexpected moment. And now looking back on it, I'm like, I can't believe I didn't predict they were going to do something like this in this movie. But I love that they did. And it was such a good scene.
And it's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
I liked how it was done.
Yeah.
And it was actually genuinely a bit scary too. And you know what else this film reminded me a little bit of in terms of the campiness? Thanksgiving.
Yes. Yeah.
There was a couple scenes in it where I was like, this is reminding me a little bit of Eli Roth. Like not the grittiness, the campiness, like the camp. So we would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Tell us what you thought of this film in the comments. Drew and I were pulling up the list of the top films for the summer, and we're kind of curious what your top films are of the year so far. We'd like to do that at the end of the year, look at our top films. And I feel like this is going to make your list.
I don't know, because as much as I loved it as a fan, when I tried to do my top 10 lists, I tried to also factor in, was this objectively a great film? There are a lot of movies last year that I really, really liked myself that didn't ultimately make my top 10. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see.
And there's a lot of great stuff still yet to come out that I'm super excited to see. So this may end up being like a little gem in Drew's heart that he loves, but I'm not sure it'll make my top 10. Maybe it will. We'll see.
I don't know. I wasn't expecting to love Superman, and it made my top 10. I mean, it's literally become one of my favorite movies of all time now.
And you didn't even want to see it.
I didn't even want to see it. I was in such a bad mood that day. So anyway, please like, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to get notified, leave us comments, check out our community tab where we share some photos. And really, we just super appreciate your feedback. We were not expecting some of our more recent reviews to do as well as they did.
Yeah, Life of Chuck I thought would get 20 views, and it's amongst our most viewed. So.
Yeah, that's wild. And Dangerous Animals made a comeback.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That was a fun one.
CGI Shark.
CGI Shark! That's a perfect place to end.
Yeah.
You can already tell the quality improvement. Look at it.
Yeah.
We look really good.
We're so pretty.
Our skin looks so good. This would be great outtakes. Drew and I just got a remote mirror device that lets us cast so that we can see the back camera instead. So we're looking really good.
We're so high definition.
We are, and like our skin is just looking good. I even have a shutter. Look at that. We put this at the end, like show everybody. Okay.
And see. Okay.
The campiness. Hey, yeah.
Should we just pause for a second here to get this back up?
And well, actually, it's not the camera. The camera's fine. It's just that, right?
Yeah.
So that's the magnet. I gotta glue it on.
I just didn't want it to fall off when we're getting towards the end of our review. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool.